Yeah, so it's crazy, right? We when we're especially coming back, the roots from New York, we grew up in the struggle, right? And it's like we don't understand what that struggle is about. So we get enticed into living this certain lifestyle, keep on hitting it hard, hitting it hard, hitting it hard. And that was, I was no different. I listened to my mom, get a good job, go get a good education. And so like parts of the fruits of my labor, like back in 2011, I was on top of the world. I had my own business. It was booming. My wife at the time was pregnant with our son and just excited. And we get to go to Asia for the very first time, right? And so I'm excited about this. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Asia, right? And then the funny thing about this is that like I go and I didn't realize I didn't even speak the language, right? I was so excited to be there that I didn't realize how am I going to communicate? So I got connected with one of my buddies who was out there, and he actually spoke English. So you can imagine how excited I was, right? And so we go and having some pho, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that's this Vietnamese soup that's very full of herbs and stuff like that. And if you're like me, it tastes best spicy, right? So I busted out the sriracha, I put more, and I put some more on, right? And then here's the funny thing, right? My boy leans into me, right? He goes, speak up. I can't hear you. Speak up. I can't hear you. The first thing I do, right, is I look at the sriracha. I'm like, do they make the sriracha a little different in the States than they do over here? And because like he couldn't hear me. So I'm like, okay, maybe I just blew it off. About a month later, my voice still sounded a little kind of funny, right? So I go on the Google machine, right? And if any of you have gone on the Google machine to look up any sort of symptoms and you're like me, you have them all, right? And so I had all these symptoms. I'm like, you know what? I just need to just go to a doctor. Let me go to an ear, nose, throat doctor, an ENT. And so I go to this doctor, right? And so she takes this scope. It has like a light at the end of it. And she shows me the scope. I'm like, what are you going to do with that, right? And she goes, no, seriously, I was like, what are you going to do with that? She goes, I'm going to put it up your nose. I'm like, you're going to put it up my nose. So she puts it up my nose and goes down the back of my throat. Sounds disgusting. And it hurts even worse, right? She goes, we need to do some more tests. Like, okay, whatever. Guess it is what it is, right? And when we come back, this time I come with my wife who's pregnant this time, right? And we're in the waiting room laughing and joking, trying to come up with names and say, Mr. Pinheiro, come back to the examination room. Okay, no problem. We'll go there, walk to the back. And then the doctor comes in. And the crazy part was that I didn't see her face. The way she walked in, her back was turned towards us. And when she turned around, she looked like she saw a ghost.
Wow.
She walks over to me and puts her hand on my knee. And she goes, Mr. Pinheiro, I'm sorry. You have cancer. Bro, the room went like this. It shrunk. And that walk from the living from the examination room to the parking lot was the longest walk of my life. Outside of that, when all I could just do was just hug my wife at the time and just simply cry. What am I going to do? But crazy as it is, in that moment, I started getting all these flashbacks. I saw myself growing up in the hood, in the South Bronx, jumping over drug addicts with their needles in their arms, ducking gunshots on the way to school. I saw all the times that like the world seemed like they were against me. I saw every single point in my life where I was like, I should have been dead or should have been in jail. And I even saw sometimes when I walked across and I was receiving my diploma. And I thought about all the obstacles I had in my life. And when I thought about that, I was like, you know what? I had to dig deep. And this moment of me to beat cancer was the same thing. I had to dig deep, deep inside me. And I found out at the end of the cancer, I found that there was something inside me that was greater than I knew myself to be. And I dug on that. And your audience some of them may be in the same space, right? And they may be feeling that, hey, the world's against me. And there's something inside them that's greater than they know themselves to be. And they stick to it and they persevere. And that really is what changed my viewpoint, where when I started going through all this, it was all about making money and getting out the hood and doing all this. And then it's like, no, I got purpose now, and I want to make a difference. And so that's pretty much my story in a nutshell, because once I started stepping into my purpose, I started realizing that I'm called to serve men who want to empower themselves in their lives. And so pretty much that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, man. Wow. I mean, listen, bro, first off, congratulations on beating a monster. And man, you're a walking miracle, brother. You know, I'm thankful that God saved your life and gave you that opportunity to be able to go out there and share your message and give this gift that you've been giving back. So first off, want to say congratulations on that, bro.
Yeah, the journey's arduous, but you know, like nothing's without a fight. You know, it's like we talk behind the scenes. You know, we share kind of our stories. And it's like, you know, really what it is that this world needs. You know, some authenticity about like, yeah, the struggle's real, but how can we all, like brethren, learn from one another and really empower one another to take the next step forward? That's what it's really all about.
Yeah, man, it's giving it back, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That gift wasn't given to us for no reason. It wasn't given to us just to keep it inside and say, you know what, this is my gift and only my gift. Right? Yeah, that's not what he did it for.
You know, here's the truth of the matter, right? The truth of the matter is that like if you would have spoken to me during that time, you didn't probably even recognize my voice. The fact that I can actually speak is a miracle within itself, because I lost my voice completely. Yeah.
He gave it back to you for a reason, right? He said
he gave it back to me. Well, to me for a reason with a big pile of responsibility.
That's right. It ain't supposed to be easy, right? It ain't. No. Purpose isn't easy.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? One of the things that when I start thinking about like those moments where I was kind of like almost forced into my own silence, right? Because even though when I would speak to people, they wouldn't understand me because my voice was so raspy and so like difficult to understand. I sound like this, screaming. Yeah. And so it kind of forced me to learn to listen. And then listen to people and listen to the power that they had within them. And then so when God gave me that miracle, he gave me the music back inside of me.